So in this story, Moses walks over to a shepherd, and the shepherd, unaware of Moses observing him, is praying to God out loud. As he sits in his field, overlooking all the sheep, he is calling out to God and saying, God, I want you to come here. I love you. I will wash your feet. I will comb your hair. I will oil your hair. I will wash your sandals for you, dry it, put it on. I will stitch your clothes for you. I will do all of these for you. I will oil your hands. I'm sure they're dry. I'll oil your hands. Please come down here, and I really want to do all these things for you out of love from my heart to you. And so Moses, when the man finished praying in this way and closed his eyes, Moses walked over to him and said, don't you know, you ignorant man, that God is not a flesh, God is spirit. God does not have hands, feet, does not wear sandals, does not have need for your food or anything. Now, in this particular story, Moses is expressing to him the way God is and not a human form. And therefore, in Moses's mind, he is trying to teach this individual to elevate his understanding of God. And in doing so, the shepherd felt really bad and walked away sad, because when somebody who's a sage, a mystic, a well-known icon in the spiritual world at that time has admonished you, you feel bad. You experience things. If the prophet of God is annoyed with you, you extend from that God is annoyed with you as well. And then God spoke to Moses in this particular parable and said, how dare you? How dare you interfere with the communication that I have with my spiritual child? It is the spiritual child's heart that was speaking to me, not the words. I listened to the spiritual child's heart, and in that heart, the spiritual child felt connected with me, loved me, and he was loving. And so Moses felt bad, of course, being Moses who he is. And Moses walked back and tried to address the situation and apologize. That's essentially the parable in Rumi's Masnavi. And there are many of these poems that Rumi wrote, being a mystic. And being a mystic, we know that Rumi did not mean to say that this actually happened in real life. Moses was more wise than that. But Rumi wanted to get a point across to humanity. And I think most of us here on this call have already gotten a point. But for completion, I'd like to share with you my views of this. And then, at the end, when we do a Q&A, I'd love to hear your views. But essentially, this is one of those things that we talk about a lot here. These are not the words you speak that matter to spirit. It is your heart and what you feel and the connection that you feel. And if the shepherd was able to experience the feeling of love in a deeper way by using the words to trigger those feelings, it doesn't matter what the words were. The feelings were the ones that were getting to spirit. This is what we teach here at the Espresso Shot and all the programs that I deliver online, is how to activate the emotions that are regenerative, that connect, and that tap into the higher wisdom. We have seen evidence to show that by tapping into your heart and experiencing compassion and love, you can actually trigger the anchor other people in love just from the energy field that's around you, because that's been measured, and the emotions are imbued on that magnetic field that you carry up to 5 to 8 feet out are also measured and can be measured, and they're there. And we've seen people calm down when others are in the room. That's also happened in studies that HeartMath Institute has done, where they've seen 3 people that are practicing compassion in a way that the shepherd was, and the 4th person dropped their anxiety levels and became more coherent, not knowing what was going on. All right, so thank you so much. I'm happy to take questions at any time now. I just want you to know that there was a question that came out by one of our Ignite members. I think Alessandra, you're here. Ciao, Alessandra from Italy. And she asked a question about the quantum bridge and she asked a question about the inner child. I think I'm going to answer this question in general because not everybody here is an Ignite member and have access to the Build a Quantum Bridge to Your Future Self, which is an hour-long exploration, and the one before that was inner child. So I'm gonna share with you her question. I'm gonna compact it so that just for everybody's sake, and then I'm gonna answer it in a general way such that everybody can relate to it. She's saying that by practicing the meditation, and in this meditation, in both inner child and building the quantum bridge meditation, I take individuals through a guided meditation in their imagination. In the quantum bridge, I take them through having them start at the beginning of the bridge and imagining a world that is something that they desire, and actually create that world in their imagination, and all the relationships that are included in that imagination, and whatever relationships you have that you want to create. So if you have a relationship that's not serving you right now with a particular person, in the new world, it would be a different relationship. And you would imagine that. Now, these are all kind of the basis of all of these visualization is found in quantum physics, theory of quantum physics. And in this one specifically, the many worlds theory. So if you want to Google what is the many worlds theory, a lot of the quantum physics basis of this has inspired me to do a guided meditation to actually help us navigate through the many worlds theory. So if we visualize that world that we want to be, and all the relationships we want to have, all the experiences we want to have, and just bring it in a way that we'll feel it very much intensely, like we will experience intense emotions of amazement, of gratitude, of looking forward to it and feeling it right now. Then walk across that imaginary bridge that you create, and then experience those things using your 5 senses in your imagination. What would this taste like? What would this feel like? What would I hear around me? And what would I see around me? All of those things, and just spend some time there. And then I ask people to look back on the bridge, and I want them to imagine the bridge being dissolved, and dissolving meaning that you leave that past, that world behind. And when you do that, your body actually begins to believe, because everything that we experience in our imagination becomes real to the body. I mean, that's been shown time and time again in studies. I can tell you right now that their studies have shown conclusively that if you experience 5 minutes of gratitude, just 5 minutes of gratitude and appreciation, your body's immune system will be boosted for 6 hours. This study has been established and peer-reviewed journals. Conversely, if you feel frustration, for 5 minutes, your immune system will be suppressed for 6 hours, actually, for up to 6 hours. And in that case, it won't even recover back to baseline for much later. So anyways, that's based on that. When you actually feel this and you create this feeling, your body can't know the difference whether this reality is unfolding before you, or it actually is happening before you, or it's in your imagination. The body's chemistry matches that feeling. And so by doing this, Alessandra asked, okay, what next? And the what next is the toughest part for every human. The what next is to allow divine timing to bring you synchronous events, people and things that happen and unfold, and for you to receive them. The toughest part is receiving. And that part is when doors open up for you, we are afraid of the unknown. And we need to step into that unknown, because everything that you know that has happened in the past, and if you only open the doors to that which is known, you are destined to repeat the past or stay in your current course of trajectory. Where the future is, where you haven't experienced it, where you want to go in new relationships, in new experiences, in the new world that's across that quantum bridge, is the unknown. And so when the doors open up to the unknown, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust spirit and follow your heart and go through that door with courage and determination. It is that we have to pay attention to the signals for. So I can't tell you when to take the next step. I can only help you get your body prepared to invite synchronicities in your life so that you can walk through the unknown door. But I know one thing, and one thing that has happened to me where I have experienced anxiety. Yes, me experiencing anxiety, and to a level where I had to pull out every tool in my tool chest to try and overcome that anxiety. And because that anxiety, because I'm afraid of the unknown. As an engineer, I am used to deterministic outcomes. I'm used to the past predicting the future, the past trends allowing me to predict what future trends are coming. That no longer is, that's the world that's no longer with us. And if we're living in that world, we are missing out on the great opportunities that lay ahead. So the unknown is where we want to be. And when you see the unknown, summon up the courage, walk through that door, and experience the new world. And that is really the next step. The next step is up to you. I can't hold your hand through that. Heck, I need help, people holding my hand through that. And we all need to step into that. So if I can answer that one question that Alexandra posed for the benefit of everyone. Thank you, Alexandra, that you sent me that email. Is anytime that you do these practices and techniques, they're just mechanisms to allow you to watch for opportunities that will come your way that you can recognize. And the recognition is that they're unknown to you. You've never been there before. And you need to kick that door wide open, walk through that. I really hope that explanation helped Alexandra to answer your question. The same thing with inner child. Again, wait for opportunities to kick the doors open. All right? And I'm going to answer those questions. Okay. So I've got Anne, aloha from Hawaii. Thank you, Shamir. This parable seems to be an illustration of our approach to life, not only in prayer, but as approach to life. New and so beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Oshi, Dr. Oshi from UK. Hi, Shamir. Can you describe a little bit the difference between seeing someone as honoring God in a way different to how I would versus someone who is not honoring God universe and acting in an egocentric way? Can you talk about how to recognize the different and how best to respond? Wonderful. So Oshi, in that particular thing, it's very interesting. You know, if we were to walk across, excuse me, if we were to say, you know, you have a religious icon. Let's pick a picture of Buddha, for example, okay? And you see somebody tearing the picture of Buddha. And in your kind of view, that's a disrespectful sign of you know, it's an affront to God of tearing or burning or even, you know, stepping on Buddha's picture. That could be our outlook. But remember one thing, that any kind of anger that we have, any kind of frustration we feel is a doorway into the next level of vibration or enlightenment. Because people are fed up. When people get fed up, they're fed up with their view of Buddha. See, Buddha never wanted to be idolized. Buddha never did want that. Buddha wanted people to say, I am just like, we're like each other. And when people put Buddha on a pedestal, and when people explore inwards, they come to this brick wall saying, this does not make sense, and they get angry at Buddha. And they tear Buddha's picture up. Finally, they realize that they are one with Buddha. And so it is very difficult, Oshi, to discern when somebody's being, you know, negative, or somebody is in your way who's not honoring God or universe. It is very difficult to measure from outward behavior whether they're loving God or not. They're experiencing fear of something, and in their way they're fed up and they're angry, just like a child is angry at a parent. You know, when a child is angry and throws a tantrum at a parent, you can say that that child is not honoring the parent, but that child wants something and does not know how to express him or herself. And really, the way we dishonor, when we see others dishonoring God or spirit or religious icons, or for that matter, each other, is a cry for help. And what we need more is compassion rather than judgment. And at that point in time, when somebody's throwing a temper tantrum, I always say to people, and I've seen a lot of clients, I do a lot of coaching, and this comes up often. So thank you so much for sharing, Oshi. This comes up often. I often ask people to look at this person who's throwing a temper tantrum, who's dishonoring, who you see as dishonoring God, and look at them in a way that they're like a child crying out for attention and wanting something more. sometimes we have to get angry and frustrated to get to the next level. And I did that. I remember sitting in meditation one day, frustrated. It was a group meditation, and I was completely frustrated. And the person that actually was leading the meditation said, "Now we're going to ask Spirit to clear your emotional blocks. Anything that's they call it cords. These are energetic cords that are holding holding you back." And I view that energetic cord as that the bridge that's behind us that we crossed over, we're still connected to that because we can't see the bridge dissolve. And so she said, I'm asking on behalf of everybody, I want you to set the intention to break the energetic cord. And so when I was in that meditation, I sat in there and I said, and I swore, I said, I want this effing thing over and done with now. And I kid you not, this is an engineer speaking. I felt this rush of energy come right through me like a lightning bolt. And I knew at that point in time it was cleared. So for me, I dishonored Spirit by swearing at Spirit, and I was had enough with Spirit. But through that process of anger, that elevated emotion saying, this is enough, I don't want this anymore, was a plea and cry to the universe. And that emotion carried with it energy, which created a reality, which is what the quantum bridge is all about. And so this happened to me, and that is why I'm so inspired to share these guided meditations with everybody. So thank you so much, Oshi, for asking that question. I didn't know where I was going in that answer, and I just got there. If you want to join Ignite at 40% off right now, it's $25 a month right now. If you type in the code ALBERTA, capital ALBERTA, you can sign up for the $15 a month and cancel anytime that you want, okay? So if people want to join that, even try it out for a month, go ahead and do that. ignitefrominsideout.com, enter the code ALBERTA, and you can experience it for $15 a month. Cancel anytime, no problem, okay?